Okay, hello. Good morning, everyone. Today is our week 25, day 1 for our maritime English lesson. So, since today is Monday, the first day of the week, we will start the ball rolling. Okay, so from our previous lesson, from our 23rd week, we discussed about the different vocabulary words, no, which is related to maritime industry. And these words are very important for for your daily onboard experience. All right. So from the 23rd week, we discussed about the different words from deck operations in general. So in a while, we'll just have a little review, all right? And then after that, we're gonna have a short activity for that, all right? And so now, for the 23rd week, we had the deck operations in general, like the berthing. Okay, so yeah, yes. So the first word that we discussed about was birthing. Okay, so this is just a review. Well, birthing is the act of bringing a ship alongside a port, right? Bringing means you are doing the movement closer to the port. Okay, that's the simplest explanation about birthing. And the second one, we also discussed about the unberthing, meaning you're moving away the the ship, away from the port, of course. Okay, so that's unberthing, the act of moving a ship away from a port. And the third word was the heavy line. Can you still recall it, everyone? The heavy line. So this heavy line is a line with a weight end thrown to shore to assist in passing a heavier mooring line. Okay. Uh, from the name itself, heavy. So we can right away visualize that this is a bigger, okay, a bigger rope, or a line, okay, or what do you call this, um uh, the one used for birthing movement. Okay, and then the fourth one is the gangway. Well, gangway is like our stairs in our house. Okay, so that's the gangway. It is a portable ramp or stairway which is used, of course, in boarding or disembarking a ship. Okay, and then we have draft or drought. Okay, that is the vertical clearance, no, from the water line and the bottom of the hull. Okay, and also we have also freeboard. Okay, that is the distance from the water line to the main deck. All right, and also I don't know if you can still recall that we discussed about the deck operations, cargo, with regards to cargo handling. Now we have the hatch. This is like a cabinet of our room hatch. Okay, and it has a hatch cover, which is tightly sealed, of course, to protect the cargo. And then we also have the derrick. Okay, this one is a derrick is like a lifting apparatus, all right, on a ship, which is used for moving a cargo, used for storing or the equipment. And also we have the crane. All right. This crane is a mechanical device, okay, with a hoist rope and wire ropes or chains and sheaves. And lastly, for cargo handling, we have also, we call the stowage. Okay, meaning the stowage is an act of properly placing and securing the cargo. All right, within a ship's hold or on a deck. Okay. So when we go to navigation, we also have different terms. Okay. We can hear about the word bearing. No, bearing is the direction of an object from the observer or from the officer on duty. Okay. So we also have the word helm. Okay. This is a broader term, yeah, which refers to the whole steering mechanism of a ship or a boat. Okay, that's what we call the helm. Uh, Here it includes the steering wheel. Okay, it also have associated equipments, no, like the rudder or rudder, wherein the connecting cables or the hydraulics are there also, and often the entire area or station, where the vessel is controlled. Okay. So while steering the wheel of the ship, it is often the most visible part of the helm. Yeah, really, it's true. The helm encompasses everything involved in the steering the ship. All right. So sometimes everyone in modern vessels, the helm might not have or might not even have the traditional wheel, yeah, nowadays. Yeah, so but rather it only has a joystick or other electronic controls on it. Okay, now so think of like this, okay, for a simpler imagination. Okay, now in a car, okay, like we have the steering wheel. Okay, now the steering wheel is just the wheel. All right, so but the driver's station wherein we sit, okay, uh, there is the control, or that is the control area, okay, which includes the steering wheel. There is a pedal, all right? There is a dashboard on it. Oh, so that is uh, that is actually the most simple explanation about the helm. Okay, it is like a driver's station when we are driving a car. All right. So for let's go to the safety. Okay. For the safety, we have this master station. Okay. So what do we mean by master station? Okay. This master station is the designated assembly point on a ship during emergency. Okay, that's what master station means. Okay, so next is we have the life raft. Okay, when we say life raft, um, it is an inflatable, buoyant apparatus. Okay, which is carried on a ship's oh, no, 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 which is carried on board ships, okay, as a means of a survival in an emergency cases. So that is what a life raft means, right? So we have the life buoy, okay, we have the lifeboats, okay. When we say life buoy, we have It is a buoyant device, okay, designed, thrown, to be thrown to a person in the water to prevent from drowning. That's a lifebuoy is uh, a ring light. No, 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 I'm sorry, not a ring light. It's a ring shape, okay, with an orange color. You always see this on board. Okay, that's the lifebuoy. And then we have the PPE, wherein it's the protective, a personal protective equipment. Okay, there's a lot of personal protective equipment. We have the hard hat, we have the goggles, you have the earmuffs, you have the mask, the gloves, the coverall, and safety shoes. Okay? Those are all examples of personal protective equipment. And you have also the life jackets. Yes, this is very common. Life jackets. Okay? So life jackets are are the equipment worn during emergency cases also. And so we also have fire drill, okay, and abandoned ship drill also. So those are all the basic safety words or vocabularies you can always hear every day, okay, on board. And then we have deck operations. You can always hear about knots and nautical mile. Okay, so the reason why I'm going fast, a little fast, it's because this is just now a review. Okay, we already discussed this from our 23rd week of our maritime English lesson. So, for today, I will give you a series of questions, but of course, with a side explanation. All right, for a better understanding. The reason why I emphasize more on this, it's because these words are really important. Okay, so for number one of our Q&A, our question and answer, so the words that I gathered from deck operations in general is number one question. Okay, it says here that what is the primary purpose of berthing a vessel? See, berthing. So as I mentioned earlier, it is the process of safely mooring a vessel alongside a dock, a pier, or another vessel. So, what is the primary purpose of berthing? Is it A, to refuel the vessel, B, to adjust the vessel's stream, C, to load cargo onto the vessel, and D, to secure the vessel to a berth or pier? Okay, there's already a clue word for number one. So, what is the correct answer here? Yes, it's letter D. So, the primary purpose of berthing a vessel is, of course, to secure the vessel to a berth or pier or port. Okay? Remember that berthing is the process of safely mooring a vessel. Alright, along a dock, a pier, or a port. Okay, so is it now fully understood what berthing means? Okay, so let's move on. Yes, this is an example of berthing. Can you see here the tugboat? The tugboat is pushing, okay, all right, is pushing the vessel towards the port. Okay, that is what berthing means. Okay, safely mooring the vessel. Okay, so next, all right, for number 2, which of the following is a key consideration during the unberthing process? Okay, is it A, ensuring all lines are cast off in a controlled sequence? Okay. B, opening all watertight doors? Or C, activating the fire suppression system? And D, is it lowering the anchors immediately? So, as I mentioned before, unberthing, meaning moving away the vessel away from the port. Okay? So, what is the correct answer here? Okay, of course, it's letter A. You have to make sure all lines are cast off or released in a controlled sequence, because this one is very crucial, the unberthing process. That is very crucial. All right? That's why you have to make sure that all lines are removed or released or cast off in a controlled sequence away from the berth without damage. Okay? So, yes, this one. Although it's a little blurry, but you can see here this one is the ship or the vessel, and it's moving away, right, from the port. Okay, moving away from the port. That is what we call unberthing. All right, so is it clear what is berthing and unberthing? Okay, let's move on. So, question number 3. In deck operations, what is typically meant by a heavy line? Okay, for letter A, lines used for cargo operations. B, lines for hoisting flags. C, mooring lines used for securing large vessels. And D, lifelines on deck for crew safety. So, what do you mean by heavy line? Alright, of course, it's also a mooring lines. It is used for securing only for large vessels. Okay? That is what heavy line means. Okay? It is also often referred as mooring lines. Okay? It's just that they are robust, okay? Ropes, okay? And or wires, which is essential for securing large vessels. Okay, okay. So it is also capable of withstanding significant forces. Okay? That's why it's called basically heavy line. Okay, large, it's huge, it's big line. Okay, so next. For this one, what does the term draft or drought refer to in maritime operations? All right, this is very important. Okay, so draft or drought is A, the vertical distance from the water line to the bottom of the hull or keel. B, the height from the deck to the masthead. Okay. C, no, I'm sorry, not masthead, it's masthead. And then C, the total length of the vessel. All right, next. Is it the width of the vessel at its widest point? So, what do you think is the meaning of draft, or what does draft means? It is, yes, this is the vertical distance from the water line to the bottom of the hull. Okay, I'll show you the the picture. Yes, this one. This is the trout. Okay. The green one is the water. All right. Of course, this is the vessel or the ship. This one is the water line. Okay. From here up to the bottom here of the ship is what we call draft or drought. The vertical clearance, okay, is what we call draft or drought. From the water line to up to the bottom of the ship or the hull. Okay. This one is the rudder. Okay. So that is what we call draft or drought. All right, let's move on. So, in maritime terms, what do you mean by freeboard? There you go. Freeboard. Okay. Is it A, the height of the mast? B, the distance from the water line to the main deck level? C, the depth of the cargo hold? D, the length of the vessel from the bow to stern? Okay. The correct answer for this is letter B. Okay, I'll show you where can you find the freeboard, because it says that the distance from the water line to the main deck level. Okay, it is defined as the vertical distance. Yes. Okay, so it's here. All right. The freeboard, this is the water line, right? And this one is the main deck. This one. Okay? So, from the main deck, the vertical clearance to the water line is what we call freeboard. Okay? Is it clear? So, from the main deck to the water line, freeboard. From the water line down to the hull is what we call draft or drought. Okay? Is it clear? Okay. So, for number 7, which of the following best describes the general sequence, okay, or steps of operations when berthing a vessel. So, what is the best steps or the general steps or procedure or sequence of operations when berthing a vessel? So first, do you A, load a cargo, and then you will refuel, and then you will customize clearance, and then you go on berthing? Or B, preparing mooring lines, approaching the berth, and securing lines, and then you will do the engine standby? Letter C, is it adjusting the draft, okay, conducting drills, then painting the hull, and then you will deploy the life raft? And then for letter D, is it casting off the lines, engaging full ahead, and then you will secure the gangway, and then you will lower the anchors? So, how do you do the berthing process? Is it A, B, C, or D? Okay, of course, it's letter B. Yes, it's letter B. Yeah, because that is the typical steps, procedures, or sequence. Okay, you have to prepare first the mooring lines for maneuvering purposes. Okay, and then you will carefully approach the designated berthing area. Okay, the port, the pier. Okay, and of course, you have to secure the vessel with the mooring lines. Okay? And then, after securing the vessel with mooring lines, you will now maintain the engine readiness until all operations are complete. Okay? That is the proper way or the general sequence of operations when berthing a vessel. Okay? So, can you still catch up with all the discussions? Okay. So next is for number 8. Remember everyone, we are still in deck operations in general. Okay. So, what are important safety precautions to observe during line handling operations? So, during line handling operations. So, for letter A, wearing appropriate personal protective equipment, maintaining clear communication, and being aware of snapback zones. Okay? B, handling lines with bare hands, no gloves, to feel the tension, and standing close to the bits. And then C, working alone to avoid miscommunication and rushing the process. Oh. Letter D, ignoring weather conditions as lines are designed for all conditions. So, we're talking now about the safety precautions, okay, to observe during line handling. So, what do you think is the most important? A, B, C, or D? Of course, it's letter A. You have to wear your PPE, personal protective equipment. And then you have to have a clear communication with the other officers, okay, or ratings during line handling. And of course, you have to be very careful. You have to be aware of snapback zones, okay, for safety. Okay, so let's move. Yes, all these are all personal protective equipments. Let's start with your coverall. This one. I'm pretty sure all of you know this one. Coverall during operations. And this one. This is what you call hard hat. Okay. This one is the goggles or googles. Some pronounce it as goggles. Some also pronounce it as googles. Whatever you want to, it's the same. This is the one, goggles or googles. Okay. Next, protection for the eyes. Of course, for the head. Of course, for the whole body. And this one for the hands. Gloves or gloves. Okay, you have to wear this one during deck operations. Okay, and this one, safety shoes. This one, all right, safety shoes. And this one, for the engineers, yes, ear muffs. Okay, these are just examples. Some. There also, you can use the vest. Okay, vest. All right. So that these are all the personal protective equipment during deck operations. All right. So number 9, how are draft? Remember, draft and freeboard typically related, okay, in terms of a vessel's loading condition. How are they related? Okay, so is it A, as draft increases, freeboard decreases? Okay, draft increases, okay, the freeboard decreases, assuming constant displacement. Okay, is it B, freeboard is only measured, okay, when the vessel is empty? Okay, letter C, as draft increases, freeboard also increases. Okay, and letter D, they are unrelated measurements. So, how are they related? Draft and freeboard. Remember, draft is from the water line to the bottom of the hull, while the freeboard from the water line to the main deck. Okay, so what are the how are these two words related? What is the correct answer? It's, of course, as draft increases, okay, the freeboard decreases. Okay, assuming a constant displacement. Okay? So it's basically inversely related. Okay? As a vessel loads, the more cargo, all right, the more cargo or takes on more water, the draft increases, meaning it sits deeper in the water. And consequently, the distance from the water line to the main deck, which is the freeboard, of course, it decreases. Okay? So, wait. Okay, I just want to show you uh, the, the, the logic, but the slides is already far behind from here. So anyways, you just review about the freeboard and the draft, okay? Because those are essential words, okay? For number 10, which of the following is a general best practice for safety, okay, during deck operations? Okay, the general best practice. Okay, for number 1, for letter A, storing flammable materials near heat sources for convenience. B, allowing crew to work without supervision for efficiency. C, ignoring safety signs and procedures to save time. And D, maintaining clear deck spaces, proper lighting, and securing loose gear. So what do you think is the best general practice for safety? It's letter D. Okay. So you have to maintain clear deck spaces. And then you have to have a proper lighting. Okay? And you secure loose gear. Okay? Loose lashings, of course. You have to secure that. So, that is the best practice for safety. Okay? During deck operations. You maintain clear deck spaces. Okay? You have to have a proper lighting. And, of course, you have to secure loose gears or lashings. Alright? So, meaning keeping the deck areas free of obstructions. Okay? You have to make sure that there is adequate lighting for visibility. And of course, properly stowing all loose equipments. Okay? Because those are all fundamental practices. Of course, to prevent trips, to prevent accidents, okay, on deck. All right? So, that should be practiced because that's the general best for safety during operations, deck operations. Okay? So, let's move on to our next vocabulary words. This is all about deck operations. Now, with cargo handling, about cargo handling. So we have three. No, I gathered four. I mean, we have the hatch, we have the derrick, we have crane, and we have the word stowage. Okay. So for question number one. Okay. So, by the way, everyone, so our vocabulary words, okay, is it fully understood about the deck operations in general? So, is it clear? So, if you have, what do you call this, doubts or unclear visualization or unclear explanations, you can just uh, play the video, okay? So that you can fully understand the vocabulary words. All right, so let's move on to deck operations about cargo handling. Okay, for number one, what is the primary function of hatch covers on a cargo vessel? All right. So what is the primary function of these hatch covers? Is it A, to store spare parts and equipment on deck? Okay. B, to protect cargo from weather and prevent water ingress into a cargo hold? And C, to assist in the vessel's stability during heavy weather. And letter D, to provide a platform for crew during cargo operations. So, what do you think is the primary function of hatch covers? Okay, it's letter B. Two, hatch covers are the ones to protect cargo from weather and then to prevent water to get inside, ingress into the cargo holds. Okay, this is like our room or the main door of our house, the hatch covers, like the main door of our house. You have to protect, especially at night, from the robbers. So you have to protect, you have to close the door, the main door. That is what hatch covers means. Okay? So, um, yes, this one. This one is the hatch covers. This one is the cargo hold. Okay? Hatch covers. It's either this is manually operated or it's machine operated. This will slide down here. This is tightly sealed, okay, to prevent the water from coming in, okay, to protect or to refrain from the water get inside. Of course, to protect the cargoes. Okay. So next, which of the following are common types of cargo hatch covers? So yes, is it A, there's hydraulic, there's manual, and there's electric. B, there's rolling, there's folding and pontoon. C, is it hinge, or is it a removable or a telescopic? Or C, is it sliding? Is it fixed? And is it inflatable? So, which type of hatch covers are common? Okay, of course, it's letter B. It's rolling, yes. There's folding, yes, and pontoon. Okay? So next, what is the main function of a derrick? Okay, here. On a cargo vessel. So, what is the main function of derrick? Okay, is it A, to ventilate the cargo holds? B, to lift, okay, and move cargo between the ship and the shore or other vessels? We have letter C, to control the ship's steering. Is that the purpose of derrick? And then letter D, to measure the vessel's speed. Oh, so derrick. Okay, what is the main function of that? It's, yes, to lift, okay, and move the cargo, yes, between the ship and the shore or other vessels. That is what derrick means. Okay? Okay. Alright. So, what is the primary function of that for safety precaution? What is the primary function of derrick? Okay? So, A, is it ensuring clear communication with the winch operator and signaler? B, performing maintenance only when a fault is visible? C, is it operating it at maximum speed for efficiency? And for letter D, ignoring load limits to finish the job quickly? Okay. So what do you think is the primary safety precaution when operating a derrick? Okay. It's A. So you have to make sure there is a clear communication with the winch operator, yes, and a signaler. So clear communication here is important or crucial in order for the operator to coordinate with the signaler. Of course, to prevent mishaps, okay, during deck operations. All right? Clear communication is crucial. Okay? Next. This one is what we call derrick. Okay? So, can you now imagine what we are talking about earlier? This is what we call derrick. This one. Okay? Next. Okay. So, which principle is fundamental, okay, to the safe operation of a ship's crane? So, which principle? Okay, is it A, using damaged wires or slings if they appear to hold the load? B, operating the crane beyond its rated capacity to move heavier loads? And C, maintaining the load, okay, within the crane's safe working load. That's what we call SWL, and operating reduce, and B, leaving the load suspended indefinitely during breaks. So, what do you think, or which principle is fundamental or important to the safe operation of a ship's crane? Of course, it's going to be letter C. So this one, maintaining the load within the crane's safety working load and operating radius. You cannot just put um you cannot just put heavy loads wherein the crane cannot handle. It should be in the safe working load. Okay? Because adhering to this safe working load and operating within the operating radius, it should be within its safety structural and stability limits only. Okay? Because anytime if the load is very heavy and the crane cannot handle that, it can cause accident, right? Okay. This one is the crane, right? This one. This is the crane, an example of a crane. Okay. So, the explanation is that if you put too much load on this, and this one will break because it's too heavy, it's more than the safety word limit. Of course, it can cause accident, right? Okay. So, for number 6, what is the primary purpose of proper cargo stowage on board a vessel? Okay. Is it A, to maximize the amount of cargo that can be loaded regardless of the type? B, to make cargo discharge as low as possible to ensure careful handling? Or C, to allow for free movement of cargo within the hold for inspection? And D, to ensure the safety of the vessel, its crew, and the cargo during voyage. So what is the primary purpose of proper cargo stowage on board the vessel? Alright, it's of course letter D. You have to make sure, of course, the safety of the vessel and of course the crew on board and the cargo during the voyage. That is why the primary purpose of proper cargo stowage is done with letter D. Okay? You have to make sure that the vessel is safe, the crew, and the cargo. Always, always, always. Bear it in mind. Okay? 7. Which of the following is a common problem, okay, associated with improper cargo stowage? Yes, this is crucial. A, quicker loading and unloading times due to less securing. Cargo shifting leading to damage to cargo or the vessel and loss of stability. C. Enhanced protection of sensitive cargo from vibrations. And letter D. Improved vessel stability and fuel efficiency. So what do you think is the common problem associated with improper cargo stowage? Of course, cargo shifting leading to damage to cargo or the vessel and loss of stability could be a common problem if you are doing it improperly. Okay? Unsecured or poorly arranged cargo, okay, can move significantly during the voyage, of course, causing the damage to itself, to the ship, and it potentially you will compromise the stability. And of course, the last uh, worst scenario for that is accident. Okay? So if you have this improper cargo stowage, it's really not safe. Okay? The ship, the crew, and the cargo are compromised for improper cargo stowage. All right, for number 8, what is the primary function of dunnage in cargo handling? Okay. A. To decorate the cargo hold for aesthetic purposes. B. To provide ventilation, protect the cargo from moisture or damage, and separate different consignments. C. To add extra weight to the vessel for better stability. Is that the purpose of dunnage? And letter D. To increase the friction and make cargo more difficult to move. Of course, it's letter B. The primary function of dunnage in cargo handling: to provide ventilation, to protect cargo from moisture or damage. Because if it's well ventilated, of course, there's no chance for the moisture or the damage of the cargo. And separate different consignments. Okay? It prevents damage, prevents contact with the ship's structure or cargo. Okay? And aids also in organizing the loads. Okay? Creates ventilation. Yes, air circulation. Okay, next. So why is it important or essential to properly lash the cargo during sea voyages? Why is it important? Okay, now, do your imagination. Okay, if you did not properly lash the cargo during, say, sea voyage. Okay, for number 1, why is it important? No, essential. A, is it to prevent it from shifting due to vessel motion and adverse weather? B, to increase the overall weight of the cargo for stability? Is it C, to make the cargo easier to identify for customs officials? And D, to provide insulation and maintain the cargo's temperature? Is it The main reason, of course, you have to prevent it from shifting or move the cargo. How we're talking about the cargo. To prevent it, why do we have to lash the cargo? Is to prevent it from moving or shifting due to vessel motion, of course, while sailing. And of course, if there's bad weather condition. So, lashing the cargo secures, okay? And uh, it is firmly secured, okay? You lashing counteracts the forces of ship movement, yes, and bad weather condition. So of course, preventing it from dangerous ships, okay, movement. All right. So next, for number 10, what is the main reason for regularly load testing derricks and cranes? Okay. So what is the main reason? So is it A, to break in new equipment by intentionally overloading it? Is it B, to determine the aesthetic appeal of the machinery? C, to ensure they can safely lift and handle loads up to their rated capacity? And D, to assess the speed at which they can operate? So, what is the main reason for regularly load testing derricks and cranes? Of course, it's letter A. To break in new equipment by intentionally overloading it. Okay? So, load testing verifies the equipment, uh, whether it can perform safely under stress or confirming its structural integrity and operational limits of the derricks and cranes. Okay? That's why you have to regularly have a load testing, okay, to break in new equipment by intentionally overloading it, okay. So, all right, so there you go, we have deck operations, okay. We have deck operations in general. We also have deck operations in cargo handling. Okay, now for the navigation and safety and deck operations, we can discuss, or we can have it further with our lesson by Wednesday. Okay, so for now, uh, I will end here, since it's the next lesson about navigation, especially about the safety, is quite long. Okay, and I will try my best to finish up to navigation, and then I will have a separate discussion about the safety and also the deck operations. All right. So for now, I will push through with the navigation. Okay, with the discussion. Okay. For here, navigation, this is also important, of course. So for number 1, it says here that in navigation, what does bearing refer to? Okay? What do you mean by bearing? Okay. Is it A, the amount of cargo loaded onto the vessel? Next, the speed of the vessel through the water? C, the depth of the water under the keel? And D, the direction of an object or point from the vessel's position? So, what do you mean by bearing? Is it A, B, C, or D? Okay, it's letter D. This bearing means the direction of an object or point from the vessel's position. Okay? So, meaning bearing indicates the angular direction of an object from a reference point, which is the vessel's position, okay, or the ship's bow, or what they call it, true north. Okay? That's what bearing means. Okay. So, next, we say when a helm order starboard is given, okay, which way does the ship's bow move? Okay? So, when a helm orders starboard, where do you think the ship's bow move? Okay? So, whenever you hear starboard, so where do you think is the ship's bow move? Is it A, straight ahead, and then you increase the speed? B, to the port side or the left side? C, to the starboard or the right side? And D, you have to slow down the vessel. So, what do you think? Where the ship's bow move whenever you hear the helm says starboard? It's letter B. It's the opposite side. Okay? Because the rudder, the helm or the rudder turns, okay, to the starboard. Whenever you hear that word, it moves the stern, okay, to starboard and the bow to the port. Opposite, okay? Bow is the front part, okay? All right. So, when a helm order starboard is given, which way does the ship's bow move? To the port side or the left side. Okay? Next. What is the primary function of the rudder on a ship? What is the primary function of this? Okay. To control the direction or steering of the vessel. B, to provide propulsion for the vessel. And C, to stabilize ship against the rolling motion. And D, to measure the depth of the water. So, what is the primary function of the rudder or rudder on a ship? It's to control the direction or steering the vessel. Okay? So that creates hydrodynamic forces to change the ship's heading. Okay? That is the primary function of the rudder or rudder of on a ship. Okay? It changes the ship's direction. Alright? Okay. This one is the rudder or rudder. You can see this at the bottom back part. Okay? The back part of the ship. This one is the propeller. Okay? Rudder or rudder. Alright. So, in nautical terms. Alright. In nautical terms. What does helm primarily refer to? Is it A, the ship's engine room? Okay. B, the anchor and its chain? C, the steering mechanism or wheel of a vessel? And D, the ship's main mast. So, helm is the, I'm sorry for this. This is an error, okay? Don't mind this one. The answer for this is the steering mechanism or the wheel of a vessel. Remember the helm, the one I explained earlier, that that is the driver's station. Yes, that's one. Not the engine room, okay? I'm sorry for the mistake, okay? It's the steering mechanism or wheel of a vessel. Alright. So for number 5, how does the rudder angle affect a ship's turning circle? Okay. A. A larger rudder angle always makes the turning circle larger. B. A smaller rudder angle makes the ship turn faster. C. The rudder angle has no significant effect on the turning circle size. And D. A larger rudder angle generally results in a smaller turning circle. What do you think, or how does the rudder angle affect a ship's turning circle? Alright, it's letter A. A larger rudder angle always makes the turning circle larger. Okay? Alright? So that is the effect of the rudder angle while the ship's turning circle. Okay? Okay. So for now, we'll stop here, okay? Because about safety is quite a long topic, okay? So I have to have a longer time to discuss about safety for our next meeting. And I will include about the deck operations, vocabulary words using the speed units. Okay? Now, for now, I will pause here. So, I can give way to a longer time about safety, because of course this is very important topic, so I need a longer time for this, and I will just discuss this on Wednesday. All right, so for now I have to say goodbye to everyone, and I have to pause, and I'll see you all on Wednesday for our safety topic. Okay, so again, I'm your teacher for today, Teacher Shelly. So I'll see you all, everyone, on Wednesday, same time, and hope you learned something for today's lesson. All right. So I'll see you all on Wednesday. Bye, everyone. Have a good day. Okay.